Not too bad. Logan, this is your first time in the studio. So
that's right.
What's your first reaction?
You know, I've been a fan of your work for a while, and I've seen the studio, and I think it looks even better in person. So thank you for having me. It has been a long time. We've been trying to get this for a long time, and it's actually happening. So
I would like to say that's Kevin's fault that he has not been here. But I will not throw Kevin under the bus like that.
Yeah.
That is my fault. I'm this semester has been crazy, but hey, we made it to a movie this semester,
That's true.
And now we are doing podcasts together this semester. So
but he couldn't make the second movie.
Baby steps.
Movie.
But I heard it wasn't that good. So it's okay.
No, and we will be talking about that movie called Chaos Walking here, or otherwise Walking Chaos.
Chaos.
Listen, no joke. I actually messed that up a few times. I was talking to people, and I was like, Walking Chaos was not a good fit. And it's like, wait a minute, no, but it makes sense though when you think about it in the end.
It does.
So welcome to the podcast again, Kevin, Logan Shakowski, Kevin Walker. I should officially say.
Okay. Thank you.
So I guess the first, well, actually, I got to start with story time. Okay, so we had this is typically not a Shield of Hope discussion that we're about to have because it has nothing to do with films, but it has to do with a little bit of entertainment. So we were at the local girls basketball game last night going for states, and we had a masked Mussolini sighting. Okay, I'm not kidding you. Okay. So this dude, okay, first of all, we're going to start pre-game, okay? So we pull up in a caravan to the arena. We pull up in a caravan, and they socially distanced parked us. You couldn't even park next to the thing. So, okay. So with that being said, we're like, whatever. So we get in line. We're walking as a group into the arena, go through security, whatever, all that fancy stuff. Get into the arena. When we get in there, they say, sit in the green stickered seats. So there's a group of 6, let me just say. Well, there's only 4 seats in a row allowed. Not social distance seats. Like, there's not a seat in between, but there's 4 seats. And then 7 rows down, basically, is like there's another 4 seats. And we're over here like, well, as a group of 6, what would make sense for us to, like, why would we split up where the family's all the way over there and we're all the way over here? Yeah. So we just, like, ballsy. We're going to take a seat. Okay, so we take a seat. As soon as we sit down, we I botched his name already. Masked Mussolini. Okay, he shows up. This old guy comes down. You can't sit there. You got to go to a green section. And I'm over here like, okay, we're a family. And he wasn't buying that. He's like, no, we're not buying this. I was like, but why? We're a family, okay? We'd have to separate like rows away from each other. We can't even talk to each other. He's like, doesn't matter. You can either go sit with those 2. There was 2 people sitting over there with like 2 seats next to him open, or you could sit way down in front where there's 4 seats open. And I'm over here like, what common sense does that make for us to go? And I'm telling him this too. I was like, what common sense does it make for 2 of us to go sit with 2 random strangers? Yeah. It's like, if you're trying to stop the spread, because they could easily have it. We could have it. Why would you make it? Well, that's the rule. So anyway, my father and my sister went to sit down ahead of us, but still off to the side. So we couldn't talk to him the whole game. So, number 1, Masked Mussolini reappears when a group of kids came down, a student section. Wasn't allowing this group of 10 to sit with each other. Nope, not having it. The kids actually got up and left. I don't know where they went. And then a group of 5 came in, a family, front row. Okay? 2 grandparents, the 2 parents, and a 5-year-old kid go walking down. Okay? They go sit down, and the reason why I say he might have been 5, I don't know what the kid was, but he was sitting on the father's lap. Okay? Masked Mussolini to the rescue, comes down, he's like, that child needs a 5th seat, and it's all the way over there. I was like, are you kidding me? Yeah. This is ridiculous. So I was like, a lot of common sense was broken that night, but that was Masked Mussolini for you guys, in case you didn't realize. Don't be Masked Mussolini. Any thoughts on what I just said? Does it make any sense, logic here, or... What does the sound?
I don't know. Do you want to hit on that one first, or?
Yeah, you can go. Go ahead.
All right. So yeah, no, I just think it's just becoming too much with the masks now, and it's like, you need to take it seriously. And I could bring up my own story with it, and if you don't mind, I would love to, because I actually forgot to talk about that on my podcast now. But a couple weeks ago on Valentine's Day, I went out with a group of friends. You guys probably saw this, and I'm not going to name drop anybody because I'm hopefully better than that. But if people are listening, they probably know who. And so, yeah, we had our masks on the entire time because it was required. And we were going ice skating. And we all actually, coincidentally, I had a COVID test that morning, came back negative. I got a COVID test the day after, came back negative. And I was with the group of people that I'm always with. So... not that matters, obviously, but, we went, there was a small group of us, and we were getting group pictures together, and I pulled my mask down for the photo for, like, approximately 3 seconds, maybe a little bit more, maybe a little bit less, I don't know, but by the time it was over, I had it back up for sure, posted the picture without even thinking twice about it, And next thing I know, I'm getting a comment underneath that's like, just so you know, the mask goes over your mouth and not on your chin. And I was like, okay, people don't need to see that. I'm just going to delete it. Then the same person commented the same thing again. And I was like, okay, they're trying to start something. And I'm like, I'm not, and this isn't me, like, because the person came at me and was like, you know, oh, they're silencing me and they're defending themselves, making themselves look like the victim. And I was like, this is just kind of silly. So I deleted it again. And the next thing I know, that person's friend recommented the same thing and then they both took screenshots and posted it to their stories, and it was circling around, and I heard that there were like people also commenting on it. I mean, I didn't care. I was back at school. I was so darn busy. I really didn't have time to pay attention to it. My group chat was blowing up. People were sending me things, and I'm like, I'm just not dealing with this. I'm not starting a dumb social media war or fight or something like that. It's so stupid. So I put my 2 cents in about it, and I felt as though I said something pretty fairly right, that like, you know, if you're coming at me, it seems as though you're targeting me instead of anybody else, because those same people, if you look at their Instagrams, some of their most recent pictures have them with their masks down or around people that don't have masks. And it's like, again, double standards, somewhat hypocritical, but at the same time, they're just not practicing what they're preaching, and it's so frustrating and annoying. So, you know, I said my 2 cents and I let it go, but it reminds me of that especially because, you know, there's a point where you take it seriously, and then there's a point where you over-exaggerate things, and that's an over-exaggeration, especially splitting up friends or family. If you're all together, what's the point of splitting them up? You're only going to, if anything, if they have it, you're going to spread it even more. So I completely, I mean, I don't know what to say necessarily about mass Mussolini besides, you know, some people are just...
Well, common sense is a dying trait across America.
Sure.
So, getting back in the topic, and this is just something that maybe the viewers will disagree with me about, or somebody's going to dislike the video, obviously, the way it started. But let me just say this, because, again, I read most of those comments, and to come back at you and say, well, this is why we can't see our grandparents or our family, because people like you that aren't wearing masks. First of all, if something like this is stopping you from seeing loved ones, like... you should still go see those loved ones. Just
so you know, I'm apparently responsible for all of the military not being able to come home and see their families. I didn't know if you guys knew that.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I was trying not to.
No, that was me. Yeah, that was me.
Yeah, that was specifically him.
Coincidentally, one of those people came back to Berwick like 5 days later. Mm-hmm. Pictures posting, no masks, and I'm just like, it's whatever.
It's almost like you kill as many people as Como.
Yeah.
So... most of that might be edited out of that.
Yeah, no, it's okay. That's okay.
In all retrospect, what was the latest movie you guys have seen? Because we're going to get back into
what a switch up there.
Yeah, well, we might as well. This is Movie Network.
Yeah.
Actually, my latest one, I went with you to see Chaos Walking. You and I talked about this a lot going into it and a lot after it. Are you okay with spoilers?
I'm okay with spoilers. Before you went, let's get Kevin's last film, whether it's on TV or in theaters.
A good point. A good question. I think
I know you've been heavy on WandaVision.
So yeah, does that count as a movie, or can I count that?
Did you watch them all on the same day? It counts as a movie.
Nah, I did. I've watched them week by week, and I was huge on that. I mean, I still am. I really love that. But I guess the last one that I had to watch was, oh God, I'm forgetting the name of it. I had to watch it. It was a documentary for school, and I forget what it was called, but it was about this rich family, and it was actually a really good documentary. I don't know if you have anything to say, but I could probably look it up in the meantime if you're talking or something.
Well,
like
I think
that.
What we'll end up doing. I want to get yours out of the way because I know.
I don't know what it. I don't forget what the name's called, but I've been having to watch a bunch of documentaries for class. It's been that, so it's a documentary. I don't know what the exact title is. I'm sorry.
It's okay because Chaos Walking. Of course, you and me went to go see it. Yeah. Kevin Bale, but we'll forgive Kevin. Anyway, so when we went to go see it, and to ask, like, when you said to me, Jim, care if we spoil it. For those of you that are watching right now on YouTube, you're going to see a title come across that says spoiler, and that'll stay up the whole way through until the spoiler talk is done. Then it will disappear. For you listening on Spotify, you can go to number. Anyways, so to get back in, we will talk about Chaos Walking, or as I referred it to as Walking Chaos, to open up the show. But let's get your reaction sitting in the theater.
So, first off, going into this, I did a little bit of research. We were talking during it. You said it looks like a younger Tom Holland. Indeed, it was a younger Tom Holland. This movie was actually started filming in 2017. I don't remember the name of the actual original director, but in essence, he had filmed a cut of it, and then in 2019, there was another part of the movie that was like essentially a rough cut. And according to Chris Stuckman, who you and I both, and you probably as well,
I love him.
Like his reviews. They changed it so much to the point where the original director or producer, whoever, wasn't even credited for even making it. But essentially, I would like to see what the movie was originally, like just before that. But anyways, going along the movie, I enjoyed it. I thought the idea and the concept was pretty neat, how you could walk around and essentially not even know you. And I can understand what you're thinking and stuff like that. The only thing that I didn't get is, along with what you're probably going to say, is the entire movie, pretty much, they're running around trying to find this spaceship of this last female, essentially, in this post-apocalyptic world that was wiped out by the villain. Essentially, they don't ever really tell you why. They're just constantly walking, chaotically, with chaos around this woods and other areas and towns and stuff, trying to find this spaceship, but never telling us, well, why is there no more females? Why are they looking for, who is this woman besides Rey from Star Wars? But yeah, they don't ever tell you. That's the only issue that I can really see about it. Otherwise, it was good. I did like the movie. I like the concept. I'm typically a guy who I do seem to like the movies that a lot of people will hate. I don't know how you guys feel about that. So.
Well, I will. I'll say something and then I'll probably pass it back. We'll probably go back and forth for a little bit here. I actually didn't mind the film. Again, the weakest part was that middle section. Again, like getting into that, and I understand that the movie was a feminist push there. Okay, like saying that head strong male basically wiped out the female population for no God-given reason other than he felt threatened. Which, like I said in Kevin's podcast about Thanos, the reason why we look at Thanos as such a powerful villain is because he has a complex mind and a complex trait where his whole idea is to save the universe from going basically extinct of resources. He wants to wipe out half the population, which logically, based off logical, is probably not wrong. It would save resources, but moralistically, you shouldn't do that. Okay, because you're playing God, and basically, and you don't really have any you don't really respect life in general if you're trying to wipe them out. So there was no he wasn't a strong supervillain. In fact, the way he died in the film, which is also spoiler, there was no arcing moment. I never felt like our main characters were threatened at all. I didn't feel like their life was in jeopardy, whether it was Tom Holland or Daisy Ridley. I didn't feel that way.
How did he die, if you don't mind me asking?
There was a bunch of different areas where his mind can project an image. Not only can you read minds, but it projects images. So I forget if it was him, because she can't. Yeah. Women can't actually. You can't read their mind.
You can't read what they're saying.
So it's only men that you can read what they're saying. What happened is Tom Holland's character projected all the women that he had killed in the village and cornered them, and then he fell to his death. Kind of like Palpatine, but didn't get thrown in.
Yeah. Essentially, Harry Potter, when he was battling Voldemort, his parents came back.
Yeah. So, there was no threat to our characters. But again, getting back to the film, and I know that walking out of the theater, it's we both kind of decently enjoyed it. We kind of want to see where it goes. I would like to actually read the novels, because I'm sure it was a better novel than the movie it was portrayed. Yeah. But in essence, it just... I'll get back to, allowing yourself to like films, because there's a film that I think I said walking out of there, I was like, Battleship. Did you guys see Battleship with Taylor Kitson?
From 2000?
Yeah. So I like that film.
Liam Neeson.
Okay. Yes, I like that film. It bombed in the box office. Didn't get enough. I don't know if they didn't advertise enough or whatever, but it bombed, and it's one of the. And I feel bad for that actor, because he's in a lot of bombs apparently.
Yeah.
But he's an amazing actor, by the way.
I think he's good.
No, I know.
American Assassin. He was good. I don't know if you watched him in American Assassin with Dylan O'Brien.
I don't think so. But I'm familiar with him and some of his other movies. He was John Carpenter, or what was it, that Disney movie? John.
Yeah, that bombed too. But I love that film, and it's something I can rewatch. But I understand it has no good plot line to it at all. It's just based off the Hasbro game, and they just want to make cool effects and exciting or whatever for basically kids.
Rihanna's in it too.
Yeah. Well, it doesn't do anything for the actual audience sitting there that wants a good plot at all. So, I compare it to that, and I have no problem with saying it's a decent film. I'd rewatch it. But again, there was just a lot of politics in it that really took you out, especially in that middle section. And that middle section even looked like it could have been one of those areas where the writers took over. You know how the first writer wasn't credited? It's like the last 30 minutes of Into the Woods. I don't know if you guys ever watched the musical Into the Woods. Don't ever watch the last 30 minutes.
Okay.
It ends as a good, and then the last 30 minutes is like chaos. The woods get destroyed, and it's like a metaphor for everybody lost their way, and just don't watch it. It looks like somebody else wrote it.
Yeah. But again, I didn't mind the movie. The only, like I said, another issue I have is I had more questions leaving the movie than when I went into it. Like, I had questions, okay, like, how are they going to do this? How are they going to portray this into a movie? Now I'm like, well, why did they bring up the whole diary part of it? Why did they bring up the whole part about his mom, and why is the character even there? Like, so essentially, that's the one thing I don't like is when I watch a film or a TV show or listen to a music, whatever, where I have more questions exiting than when I go into it.
Mm-hmm. And they're not excited questions either. It's like you're scratching your head too. Like there's like Marvel films, like when the end credit shows up or the end credit scene, you have questions, but they are like, well, what in the world's going, and those are good questions to have, and that's what you want to lean on. Like, oh, well, what happens next? Even though we both kind of have that feeling, like, oh, well, what's going to happen in the second one if they continue this? Yeah. But considering it was shot back in 2017 and it took them out now, I don't think the studio will never pass the second one.
Oh no.
Yeah, I haven't seen the film. I've seen the trailer, obviously, and I've read some of the reviews. I was excited for it because I really like Daisy Ridley and Tom Holland. I think Tom Holland's probably the best Spider-Man. But I saw from the beginning that it was a troubled production for years now. And, usually that's a sign that the movie's not going to do too well. And the clips that I saw, it just didn't seem like it made sense. Like I saw a clip with him. I didn't even know Nick Jonas was in it. But I saw that it was that scene, I think probably towards the beginning, where he envisions a snake or something, and it scares Nick Jonas off his horse. And I was just like, what is this? I thought it was a cool concept, but I was like, there's got to be a clear way to execute it, and I was guessing with the delayed production, it probably wasn't going to be executed.
Well, Nick Jonas too. We knew that Nick Jonas was in it going into it, but his character was pushed in advertising a lot, but barely any roles in it.
Yeah, you said you were disappointed in the amount of roles that he actually played in it. I thought he played, to me, a pretty big role, because it was kind of like, yes, you had that main villain, but in a lot of those films, you have that kind of like the villain's sidekick, so to speak. That's tends to be more of a problem for the actual hero. Or
yeah. Well, I also told you this too. There was a character arc moment where I thought Nick Jonas's character, because he's actually the son of the warden, who they can't read the warden's mind because he can control his noise. That's what they call it.
The warden's Mads Mikkelsen, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Great actor. I love him.
Yeah.
Anyways, so Nick Jonas's character, who's actually the son, and technically Tom's character is a quote-unquote son. He tries to treat him because he was the youngest at the camp. So he kind of grew up with the warden a little bit. But okay, so there's an area where they're in the bunker. Basically, this bunker, they trapped the Daisy Ridley's character, Tom Holland's character, in there. And the father of actually Tom's character goes in and is talking to him and okay, well, they're on the same page. They're you guys got to run, but we got to create a distraction to get you out of here. Mm-hmm. But Nick Jonas' character is let me go in, Dad, and finish him. And and Dad's no, back off. I thought it would have been a better arc moving forward if Nick Jonas character would have went in and actually died to Tom Holland, because it would have gave the father some sort of revenge to go after him even more.
Yeah.
You mentioned also it was kind of unique how Tom Holland didn't really kill anybody or hurt anybody in that film, essentially. Except for that alien thing that you and I were talking about. Why was there a random alien?
And we didn't see more of them.
Yeah, there was just a random, I call it an alien, some type of creature.
Spoiler, they blamed the alien species for wiping out the women.
Okay, yeah. But it was really the warden guy.
It was really the warden.
And we don't know why.
Because he felt threatened.
Did they actually say how he did it?
No, actually there was no reason. I think... To me, though, I think he mind-controlled the other men to do it.
I'd have to go
because
back and rewatch
there was something around there, he had us in, he kind of had us, paralyzed. Not paralyzed, but, paranoid a little bit. The warden did. Because he's the only one that can actually control his noise. Yeah. You can't see his thoughts.
Like WandaVision.
Kind of like WandaVision.
Yeah.
It sounds very messy. I don't know. And you guys kind of just told me everything.
I'm sure the writers on the film that actually were the credited ones are looking at this. They might not even. They're not listening to this. But if they do ever listen to this, they're probably these kids have no idea what they're talking about. Yeah. But what do we know? We're only aspiring podcasters and film artists. Yeah. So, back on another topic here. Well, let's see. Where do you guys Is there anything new to you guys in this? Has there been anything recent that's happened to you guys?
I've just been so stressed and overwhelmed with school, and I just last semester I had a lot of times where I was able to come home because I had off on Fridays and Mondays, and I took advantage of that to come home, but I didn't take advantage of it in the way that I should have. I did things with friends where I should have probably been studying and prepping for this semester because I knew that this was going to be the hardest one, and now I'm here and I kind of back myself into a corner where I'm just trying to play catch up constantly, and that's why I'm only home for like 2 days here. So I'm glad that I was able to do this with you guys. I would have loved to go see the movie with you last weekend or go see anything, but yeah, it's just like new as in like action or anything like.
Well, let me just say, okay, so we'll go back to because basically you're there for film school.
Yes.
You're learning about film, about the arts. Last time you were on the podcast, you talked about a lot of different areas where like you were learning about whether it was pre-production, post-production, putting things together. You've had 2 short films now out on the channel between Anorak and...
There was beginning and the end, and then I worked on... Well, I wrote the screenplay for Gym Rat and then was in that, and then I also we worked on a documentary, the Jenna Marie Foundation documentary, and then I did 315 on my own in January with Kristen Dalrymple. So like I don't know if I'd count those other 2 that like I was parts of, but like fully did myself 3.
Well, either way, you're getting into the aspect of doing more things. Yeah. So how do you feel now compared to where you were last time you were on the podcast?
So that's the thing, and I kind of like admittedly broke down last weekend like to my mom and actually like someone else at school because I was so stressed and overwhelmed driving back. I was home for a day last week and I was so stressed going back that I just really didn't think that I was going to be able to do it. I was like, that's it. I'll take a gap year or something like that. And it was just such like a spur of the moment thing that I really didn't think about at the time. And, you know, I definitely came to like regret it instantly. I'm glad I only talked to 2 people about that. And I didn't like start saying it to everybody because, you know, obviously I don't think I'm going to follow through with that. But I just had to like recollect myself and kind of analyze what's important and just focus on that. But as far as like where I'm at in school wise, I feel like I've lost a year of education, to be completely honest, with COVID and everything else. And it's not, it is on me because I like admittedly procrastinate and I suck at time management and things like that. But at the same time, I'm such a visual and hands-on learner, and you could teach yourself pretty much everything that I've somewhat learned in school, probably through a YouTube video, which is sad to say because I'm going to come out with thousands of dollars of debt, which I'm sure anybody in college is familiar with. But at the same time, you know, like I'm there expecting to get these hands-on experiences. And I don't want to, like, this isn't to discredit the professors because they are trying their absolute best and they actually like are willing to be there for you all the time with their office hours and things like that. But I just feel like I lost a complete year of school and that I'm behind in so many aspects. I mean, I know coming over here with you with like the Nikon camera, trying to just do simple things like white balance and deal with the ISO and things like that. Like I don't even, you know, it's stupid, dumb little things that every beginning filmmaker should know, and I'm still struggling with it. I mean, I could teach myself a lot of those things, but like I'm taking kind of the easy route, shooting with my iPhone because I think it's easier and I think it's better. And you know, that's just me and that's my opinion. But yeah, as far as like learning has gone, I feel like I'm more so behind, and I'm actually looking forward to working with people like you guys because I think I'll learn more from both of you than I kind of am in school right now, and that's sad.
Well, I've preached that for years. Like, as in, like, if you want to go out and actually like learn something in your field, you have to take advantage of like all the opportunities. That means like educating yourself, no matter what the career is, no matter what the topic is. Go out. I use YouTube as the best platform because there's other artists and creators that are doing so much more. To the fact like they're like high end. You even get the studio professionals that are on there like talking and teaching their own like master classes, but they're free and not like the actual master class where you got to pay for. And there's so many different things that you can learn online that like you don't really need to go to college for, and the things that the colleges don't teach you anyway. Mm-hmm. To transfer over to podcasting, Logan, what has been new on your spectrum with podcasting?
New, so to speak, as when I started it, it seems like I would get a lot of guests and a lot of support and stuff. Now with COVID, it's kind of been tough to find schedules that work for everybody because there's times where I'm still working. Not everybody's working. So there might be times where they're available when I'm not available and vice versa. So as far as new, it's kind of been a negative new in a way where I still enjoy podcasting, but I've kind of been like, that's not my focus right now. My main focus is working, making money, getting equipment, helping my community, doing whatever I can there. And then I'm still working on getting guests, but not as much as I was going to. So COVID essentially has kind of made me fall, not out of love, but like love it a lot less, if that makes sense.
No, it makes sense. Yeah. And what's your plans moving forward in the future? I know that we've talked about a few things at the theater. I don't know if you can say any of that stuff yet, but...
I'm not going to spoil it because I don't know as far as what I can and cannot say. There is some things in the future coming up. I will say stay tuned. It involves me. It involves a group of people. That's all I can say. But yeah, just stay tuned. And yeah, that's all.
One of these days, The Rock's going to answer you back.
Let's hope. I mean,
could be tonight. We are jumping on Instagram Live. Yeah. Of course, when you guys see this, it's going to be on YouTube probably a few days later, so you won't get to interact with it. But one of these days, we will have live setups and productions, too, so we can just run things live. And that puts more pressure on me because I got to do things right on the first take instead of just sometimes being sporadic sometimes. You're just, like, out there. Mm-hmm. Whether it's, like, the telephone puts you, like, just... Well, we had that just issue pop up on your podcast. But, like, sometimes it just takes you out of the elements and you blank and you look for words, which is pretty impressive that Joe Rogan and all these other people can just, like, just with keep going.
Well, he's stoned most of the time, isn't he?
I don't know. Maybe we need to try that.
Yes.
No.
Not
on Shield of Hope Productions.
Yeah, it'll be legal by then.
It'll be on Kevin's podcast when he starts that up.
Oh, my God, no.
But we're going to take a quick break, and then we're going to jump over to Instagram Live. You will see these questions and more on. We are still going to record, so you guys will see this when it comes out on YouTube. So this next segment after this commercial break will be all Instagram Live questions. Thank you, guys. I'll see you after the ad.
This is all your fault.
You never hurt anyone.
Warren? I ask you one thing. Stay away from Kate Clemens.
Is it good? Do we look like we're live? All right. Well, Mike says we're live, so here we are. It's our first time actually going live with this podcast, but we're going to answer some questions that were brought to us. But is it important to talk about why that camera is not working properly? Did you guys actually want to know the story? I was doing photography at the beach. Okay. Yeah. I actually had like somebody model for me, and we were like doing beach photos or whatever, and getting some B-roll shots. And a big wave came, and I was not prepared for it, and I dropped the whole camera in the ocean. So that's why it does not work. So word to the wise for any filmmakers out there. Do not drop the cameras in the ocean because they're not waterproof unless they're GoPros, which I truly sponsor, which are not a sponsor of this channel, but I wish they were because we'd be pretty good. So a question that was brought to our attention, which was actually a question that we had kind of at Applebee's the other night, was if we were going to star in a film, who would we want to star as us in our own documentary?
I think the question of who we want and who do we think best portrays us is two different
We could
things.
do both.
I would want Bradley Cooper, obviously.
There you go.
No, Kevin James, I feel, I relate myself a lot to Kevin James. Bigger guy, obviously. My sense of humor is kind of the same. I've enjoyed every movie that he's been in, essentially. So I would think Kevin James would be the person who, if there was a movie about my life, I'd want to have.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I'd probably say Ansel Elgort, Baby from Baby Driver, and he was also in The Fault in Our Stars and like the Divergent series. He's tall. He's like a handsome looking guy, and he just seems very down to earth and mellow, and like, I don't know, he's just always like, he seems very humble to me. I know he came under some fire like last year. There was some controversy, which I don't know if that ever got settled or whatever, but you gotta take everything with a grain of salt, so I'm not sure. But yeah, I definitely admire him as an actor, and he's gonna be in the new West Side Story too, Steven Spielberg's directing that. So I'm excited to see how that turns out. Yeah, I'd say him. I like him.
Tyler Hoechlin again would be mine. I think.
Oh yeah, we looked up the picture. Yeah.
He's not really a well-known actor. Seventh Heaven though, he played in along with Teen Wolf, which I always got complimented between him and who was the other? Wasn't there a Nick Bateman? Is that an actor?
Jason Bateman.
Jason Bateman. I was compared to him when I was like younger, but of course, the older you get, the more fat you get on your
Jason
face.
Bateman from like Horrible Bosses.
Yeah. I don't know if it's Jason. I swear there was a Nick Bateman. I don't know if that's true or not though.
Jason Bourne?
That's a character. No.
Or what's the Bateman from Psycho?
Oh.
That's just Bates, isn't it?
Yeah, it might be Bates, yeah. Norman Bates or something.
Jack Nicholson or whatever. No, wait. Jack Nicholson was
Shining. Yeah.
I don't know where I'm going with horror. Horror is not my subject, by the way.
Well, let's not compare you to anybody in horror.
This is a question that I had at the beginning of the podcast before you actually got here. Don't take this the wrong way, Kevin, but are you ever going to grow facial hair?
What do you mean? What do you not see? Can you do a zoom in or something on this right now? Like it's actually funny you say that because did someone actually ask that or you asked that?
No, we were debating before the show.
Okay, I could send a picture in. Last year during the start of COVID, my mom absolutely hates facial hair. Like, or not hates it, but like she thought it always like looks so scraggly on me, and so I was like, screw it, I'm gonna grow it out, and I did have a very prepubescent looking beard for like a month or so, and then I went into the summer, and I remember the kids at the Y would always tell me to shave, and then I did a mustache, and they hated that even more, and so I had to shave it going into school. Because of ROTC, and now actually they're doing Mustache March. So it's actually funny you say that because for the last week and a half, I've been shaving everything every single day except for this nice mustache. So hopefully by March 31st, you might be able to see it without having to zoom in, but it is a work in progress.
So what you're saying is you've never done a no shave November?
I have, but it hasn't. There's nothing ever really came of it. I'll say that.
What is the current film, like the newest film you guys have seen? We've talked about this just before the podcast, but for anybody that is actually watching out there, you'll find that most of those answers prior to, but go ahead and restate.
Chaos Walking. Again, we went to see it together. You can go to the prior, like he said, to see our overall review of it. Overall, I liked it, like we said, but yeah.
Actually, I did think of what I just saw. The most recent new one that I've seen, I watched with a friend back at school. It was, you probably might have heard of it, Barb and Star go to Del Mar or visit Del Mar. It's Kristen Wiig and someone else, but like Jamie Dornan from like 50 Shades is in it, and like there's other famous people that pop up along the way. It's just this over-the-top movie about like these middle-aged women that go on vacation, and it's just, like, I know it sounds so stupid, but I watched it and it was like, it was so dumb and so stupid that it was kind of funny. If one of those kind of movies, I don't know if I'd actually recommend it. I'd recommend it to middle-aged moms because it seems like that's the audience there. But I'm not sure if
On a scale of Hot Tub Time Machine to Harold and Kumar Go to White Castle, where is that at?
I like both of those, so that's a hard one. Definitely below those two because I love Hot Tub Time Machine and Harold and Kumar.
Is it in the Hangover category?
No, it's like
no, and then which Hangover?
The first one.
No, I put it in the Hangover 2 category. I don't really care.
Which one was the better? Just out of curiosity, because I've never seen the Hangovers.
Ours favorite.
So
we both.
Okay, and they made 3. Is that correct?
They made a third one, which I thought they took it in a different direction. That was actually decent, but the second one's my least favorite.
I will agree. The second one is probably the worst of the 3.
It's just a repeat of the first one.
Yeah.
Favorite superhero?
Mine would be the Flash, just because I want to be as fast as him. I know I never can be, but everybody wants to be something.
Think positive, Logan. Think positive.
Yeah.
I like Spider-Man. I am severely afraid of heights, but if I had something that allowed me not to be afraid, I could just swing webs or climb things, I think that'd be really cool. Spider-Man for sure.
Wolverine for me. I've cosplayed as him before, although I don't have the abs, so I kind of go as the old man Logan look. So I just, grow out the facial hair and hopefully I look old. Turning 25 inch. Listen, the acid reflux I've gotten since I turned 25 has been horrendous. Just letting everybody know. Kevin, we did have a question for you again. Somebody wants to know who the girl was that you talked about on the podcast before, but we will not have you answer that if you do not want to.
Oh my gosh! Did someone really ask that?
Really asked that.
Oh my gosh!
I will not say who asked that either.
I don't know if she... Oh, gosh. Anybody that knows me knows who it is, but I'll keep her name private. I'll plead the fifth. I'll say go back a couple years on my Instagram. You could probably find her. But, yeah, no.
Smart man.
I can't call her out, but she's doing really great things. She got a great new job, so I'm really happy for her, and I still stay in touch with her every once in a while. But, yeah, I'm going to leave it at that.
Did you gain any leeway with the whole?
No. It pretty much I think I talked to you guys about this on the last podcast. Yeah. It didn't necessarily move me forward. It didn't move me backwards, but it kind of told me what I needed to hear, which was good. So we're just gonna keep on chugging along. There's a lot of fish in the sea. It's just gonna be hard to, you guys might have shared this experience too. Like when you get caught up on someone, that's really great. It's hard to move forward from those people. So yeah, I'm just kind of just moving forward.
That's good. Just out of curiosity, out of a check out there, do we have any people? How many people are watching, Mike? Does it say at all? Doesn't say. All right. I don't know if there's. I've never done Instagram Live before, so I don't know if there's like the number pops up, if you can see who's watching or whatever. Is there any questions that pop up on screen?
2 people waved.
Wait. Is there any wave? Like, I wish. I don't know.
Back.
All right. So that really concluded the questions aspect of it. But what else is like? Okay. Well, reiterate for people that are watching right now. We'll go a little bit of backstory. So talk a little bit about the logo in your podcast.
So essentially, and I've mentioned this multiple times in podcasts that I've done with both of you, the logo started with a friend of mine, Jeremy Clausen. I'm going to shout him out on here. He also has a podcast called the Jeremy Clausen Experience. Anyways, it started as a bit of a competition between the two of us to kind of, you see, all right, we're just going to start podcasting because we're both fans of Joe Rogan. And the Joe Rogan, I'm sure you guys both have watched the Joe Rogan show. Yeah. So we're both fans of that. So we thought, might as well. And I started doing it, and I actually started to enjoy doing it. And I mentioned to you, I started with writing notes down, and it got easier, and I started to like it more as I did it. And then eventually people who would actually come up to me and say, hey, like, I listened to it. You did a really good job. I would be on phones with hours with friends saying, hey, I like this, or I didn't like this, or that was an awesome topic, or I'd like to be on it, something like that. And I really started to enjoy doing it, and then my episodes just kept coming and coming and coming. I have taken a break currently, not really though, because there is some stuff I'm working on in the future. Jeremy may or may not be involved. I'm not going to say whether he is or is not. But yeah, so that's pretty much where I'm at right now.
Now, Kevin, you just did your first podcast beforehand, so A, how did you like it, and B, are you ready to jump into the podcasting game?
Yeah, so it's really interesting because, I mean, like I said in that one, I'll kind of repeat myself if you don't mind. It was an idea that I had called The Other Side back in 2019. It was actually right around the second, or actually no, it was the first impeachment, the impeachment trial of Trump, and I was just kind of getting so fed up seeing so many things on social media. I was like, well, wouldn't it be kind of cool if you just sat down and talked to these people that disagree with you and try to have a civil conversation with them, or civil discourse? And I had this idea in the back of my head for, like I said, over the past year now. And then I was presented the opportunity 2 semesters ago, right before we got sent home for COVID. My intro to film professor was talking about a public humanities course, and they said about working on your own podcast, film, and some kind of media medium, and something to put yourself out on a platform. And so I was like, this could be the chance that I could force myself to do that thing that I've always wanted to do. And it's not only on my college bucket list, but it's my overall bucket list. I didn't know if it was something that I would continue on with or just start with for a short amount of time. But, talking to you guys, especially you, were that same semester, right before that came about, I was on yours. And then a couple months before that, I was on yours with the Joker for the first time. And, I loved the experience. I was nervous with both of them. And, you get overwhelmed, but then you just realize it's a conversation with people that just happens to be recorded. So once you forget those cameras and mics are there, it's just a conversation. And in shooting that last one, you kind of saved me there, Donnie, and so did you. I jumbled my questions a couple times and forgot what I wanted to ask, and it is a little intimidating when the time comes and you have to ask something. But yeah, I really, really enjoyed it. I had 2 yesterday, and they were fantastic, I thought, anyway. It just, again, felt completely natural. It's what I wanted, and with you guys as well, most of it to me felt natural, and I got from you guys what I wanted to hear. And you guys shared a lot of personal things where you guys hope to go in the future and things, so I really appreciated that. And that everybody that I seem to be asking to come on, only one person's respectfully declined because of their position. I respect that. Everybody else was more than happy to come on, and I was shocked because in talking about controversial things, whether it be political or social issues that are going on, not a lot of people are too willing to do that. So I'm excited to see what people say and hear them out and just give them their chance to talk, kind of not prove to everybody, but I feel like it allows people to see that side of them, and it allows people to see a different side of me as well, because a lot of people have me pegged as just one thing, and I don't like that. Not that I have to prove myself to anybody either, but I just want people to see me for who I truly am, and I think that this gives me the chance to illustrate that. But yeah, that's the biggest thing, would be the working on the Other Side podcast now through school, and I'm working on a mini screenplay for a screenwriting class as well. So that's
the worst part is trying to get people to come on, because once they're on, they're actually like, people have gotten hooked. Yeah. Like, I've got people that want to come back on the podcast. Yeah. People that just like are like, oh, okay, and it goes for the same thing with the film career too. Because I've taken people that have never acted before, and tried to like work with them or whatever. And it's truly amazing, because like they think that they're shy, and they're like, oh, I don't know if I want to do it. And then like you get them on set, they see the end result. The end result's pretty big, because for people and I think I've talked to you about this. If not, I've talked differently on my mini cast. The biggest thing for a filmmaker is getting the project done, because a lot of filmmakers, like especially like when you're independent, they don't get the projects done. So when you spent all that time and effort trying to get this cast and this crew that are volunteers, and they don't end up seeing the final product, or it gets canceled or whatever, it like demoralizes people. So like my biggest thing is like, if we start something, we got to finish something. Now there's only been one film that I haven't finished, and that's the sci-fi film. I don't know if I still have those clips on YouTube or not. If not, I'll probably drop them in the podcast here form when it comes out on YouTube. But yeah, I mean, the biggest thing is like, keep asking people. And I find that the people that come on are more enthusiastic. Do you feel that way? Oh,
yeah, for sure. I mean, similar to what he was saying, it's easy to sit here with your friends, people who you're around every day, to have a conversation with. So, yeah, by all means, my advice to anybody, whether it be you, or whoever, just go out there and just start talking. Like, I ask you all the time, well, what is this about? What is this about? It doesn't matter what it's about. Just start talking and just build from there. And overall, you just feel more comfortable.
Now, I'm going to ask Mike, do we have any questions and any waves?
2 more waves.
2 more waves. Okay. Well, I wish we could way back to them. They don't say names at all?
They do. Oh, boy. Christy Joy.
Okay. Hi, Christy.
Joshua Ray.
Wait, who is it?
Joshua Ray.
Okay. Hi, Josh.
Mrs.
Hi,
B
Josh. That's probably
_T.
Mrs. B _T. Hello there.
Allison Stashko, also known as Duck.
Okay.
Allison Stashko.
Very nice. Well, anyway, hi everybody watching.
Hello.
We're gonna end it real quick, and then we'll go back to podcasting again. You guys will see this up next week, maybe even Sunday on our YouTube channel. But signing off on Instagram Live. Where can they find you at, Logan?
You can find me, Logan, the logo, on Anchor, Spotify, Google Podcasts, and as well as Twitter, the official Logo Pod.
As for me, I think my Instagram name is like Kevin Walker _14, I think, and then just Kevin Walker on YouTube. Those are my 2 big things. But my YouTube link is in my bio on Instagram too, so I have everything from YouTube on Instagram as well.
Awesome. Be sure to check us out. The full podcast will be up on YouTube either Sunday or Monday. So thank you guys for tuning in. That was our first experience on Instagram Live. We'll have to do this again.
Yeah.
Thank you guys.
Thank you.
Yeah.
That was cool.
That Joshua was one of my friends, actually.
Okay. Cool. I'm downloading the video.
Oh, you can't, like, is it?
It says download.
Oh, okay.
Hopefully. I'm going to press it one more time. It says it's saved. All right, well, what do you guys think of Instagram Live? That was, my heart was racing a little bit trying to keep the train on the track, but that's all. It's pretty cool, though.
That was a pretty cool concept. It's amazing to see where the world has come with social media. And, of course, we've had, not to be political, probably the most outspoken on social media was our recent president. But it's amazing to see what you can do just with the push of a button, essentially. So, yeah, I think it's pretty cool.
Awesome.
Yeah, I've never done one before. I was, not that I had any reason not to. I didn't have any reason to do one either. So, I mean, I think this is like the perfect setting to do one. So I thought that was really, really cool. Neat. Yeah. And that we actually did you said some questions there. I'm really curious as to who asked some of them. But
I will not reveal certain names.
Okay,
I'm sorry.
That's okay.
It's the privacy of the individual.
That's okay.
I won't hold you guys up too often here. Of course, on YouTube, you listen to that whole thing. And you will see not only our graphics, but you will also see the format for Instagram TV pop up for when we did the live stream. And hopefully it shows who waved at us because, I don't know. We'll see. Mike, how did it feel back there, Mike? Just out of curiosity.
It was difficult to hold the camera.
I understand that. We'll get a tripod for you next time. You guys have already signed off, but sign off one more time where they can find you at.
Yes. You can find me, Logan Chakowski, on Anchor, on Spotify, and as well as on Google Podcast. I'm the host of the Logo, a podcast about everything. There's some great stuff to come, so stay tuned for that. You can also find me on Twitter at official Logo Pod.
I am Kevin Walker _14, I believe, on Instagram. Kevin Walker on YouTube. I have the YouTube link in my Instagram bio. look out for the Other Side podcast that I'll be working on this semester throughout and editing. So that should be up at some point in the coming probably month or two, hopefully. I'll be able to release the episodes one at a time, like on a weekly basis or something. And then hopefully I'm going to have some short films in the works in the coming months as well, or the year. So I'm excited to put that stuff out. So.
Well, thank you both for joining me today.
Thank you for having us.
No problem. Thank you for having us.
No problem. And for you guys out there, be sure to like and subscribe and share to everybody else. That's how we get our name out there. A little bit of promotional plug right here. But thank you guys for tuning in. We will see you on the next episode.